Hi folks, today we're going to talk about round robin brainstorming. I'm Altemus, Program Director with the Consortium for Public Education. What is round robin brainstorming? A round robin is a method for generating a lot of ideas through rapid, collaborative thinking. And when we talk about the design cycle, round robin brainstorming is part of the ideate phase. Brainstorming on your own can be useful, but group brainstorming sessions have several added benefits. Brainstorming in a group tends to generate more ideas than working solo. It invites diverse thoughts and opinions, and provides an opportunity to build off of one another's ideas. In this video, I'm going to talk about 3 versions of the round robin method. The first one is Divergent, which means compiling a lot of different ideas. The second one is Iterative, which means building off of others' ideas. And finally, Refined, which means ideating, providing critique, and then improving on an idea. So let's start with Divergent Round Robin, also known as Rip Slap Pass. Here's the process. Step 1. Seat all team members around a table. Step 2. Clearly identify the problem or challenge that the team will be trying to solve. It may be helpful to post the problem somewhere for everyone to see during the session. Step 3. Put one sticky notepad on the table. Step 4. Set a time limit for brainstorming, for example, 5 minutes. Step 5. Establish the goal. Generate as many ideas as possible in the time given. Here are some ground rules that we often use in our brainstorming sessions. First, any and all ideas are welcome. There is no such thing as a bad idea during this session. Second, set a time limit. No talking or commenting on others' ideas while the clock is running. And finally, try to keep ideas short and to the point. Here's an example of what to do and what not to do. The second one is just too much to read, and it's hard for other folks to engage with. So, step 6. Start the timer and begin brainstorming. One person will write an idea on the top sticky note. They'll then peel that note off and slap it in the middle of the table, and then pass the stack of sticky notes to the right. That person writes down another idea and adds it to the center. And so finally, we have step 7. Continue around the table until the time runs out. There are several benefits for using this method. By taking turns with the sticky notepad, everyone contributes equally. Also, if more than one team is working on the same challenge, this method can be gamified, with teams competing against one another for the most ideas. And it generates a lot of unique ideas in a short amount of time. Now let's talk Iterative Round Robin, also known as Yes and. Here's the process. Step 1. Again, seat all team members around a table. Step 2. Clearly identify the problem or challenge that the team will be trying to solve. Step 3. Give everyone a blank sheet of paper. In my example, I'm using rainbow-colored paper just so you can see how things rotate around the table. You don't have to have differently colored paper for this method. Also, it may be helpful for each person to write the problem statement at the top of their paper. Step 4. Establish the ground rules and time limits. For this method, we recommend these ground rules. Everyone will have 2 minutes to write down an initial solution to the problem on their own paper, and no talking or sharing of ideas during the brainstorming time. Step 5. Start the first 2-minute timer for brainstorming. Everyone works silently, writing down an initial idea. For example, if our problem was, how might we make school more exciting for all students? Someone might write down, maybe we could survey everyone to find out what their interests are at the beginning of the school year. Now, step 6. After the first 2 minutes, each person passes their paper to the right. Now, everyone should have someone else's paper. So step 7. Ask participants to add to their teammate's idea. This is where the yes and part comes in. You have to build from the original idea, like this example. You can't just cross it off and add something totally different, like this. Step 8. Repeat 2-minute sessions, passing papers each time. Continue passing every 2 minutes until each paper is filled with new details. In this example, we start with an idea about student surveys. And then the next person responds and says, yes, and then we could create new student clubs each year. They pass the paper, and the next person responds and says, yes, and students could choose which clubs to join. They pass again, and the next person says, yes, and we could host a club fair in a cafeteria in the fall. And then finally, the last person responds and says, yes, and we could get local businesses to sponsor. Here you can see each idea building off of the ones that came before it. Here are the benefits of using this method. First, everyone is expected to contribute equally. Second, it teaches a key component of collaboration, which is accepting and building on someone else's idea. And it invites new perspectives and contributions that might be missed when working on an idea alone. Now, let's talk about our last form of round robin brainstorming. This one is called refined round robin and is based on a method from the LUMA Institute. This method combines brainstorming with rapid feedback. So here's the process. Step 1. One last time, seat all team members around a table. Step 2. Clearly identify the problem or challenge that the team will be trying to solve. Step 3. Give everyone a blank sheet of paper. Again, you don't have to use multicolored paper like I have in my example. Everyday line paper would work just fine. Ask each participant to write the problem statement at the top of their sheet of paper. Step 4. Establish the ground rules and time limits. For this method, we recommend that everyone have 3 minutes to write down an initial solution to the problem on their own paper. While everyone is brainstorming, there should be no talking or sharing of ideas. And be sure to include as many details as possible so that the idea can be easily understood by someone else. Now, step 5. Start the first 3-minute timer for brainstorming. Everyone works silently, writing down an initial idea. And then step 6. After the first 3 minutes, each person passes their paper to the right. Now, everyone should have someone else's paper. Step 7. Ask participants to write down reasons why the idea will not work. At this time, it's important to remind everyone that feedback is a good thing, that finding issues early in the process will make their ideas stronger overall. And, as always, remind them that feedback should be kind, specific, and helpful. Step 8. Everyone takes 3 minutes to write down feedback. For example, we start again with the idea about creating student surveys. However, this time, the next person gives this feedback, saying it may not work because some kids might miss the survey. Also, what happens if their interests aren't appropriate for school or cost too much money? Now, step 9, each person passes their paper to the right again. And then step 10, each participant responds to the feedback with a more detailed idea. So, to refine the idea, each person rereads the original idea and then reads the initial feedback that points out issues with the idea. They then refine the original idea, adding details that address the feedback concerns. So the next participant responds to the feedback, saying, well, we could send out surveys each 9 weeks with multiple choice options for clubs that can be offered in the school building. In this way, they respond to the feedback and build on the original idea. From here, you could repeat the process with more rounds of feedback. So lastly, here are the benefits of this method. Everyone is expected to contribute equally, just like the other 2 methods. However, it teaches a key component of collaboration, which is accepting constructive criticism as a valuable tool for improving solutions. And it rapidly develops the details of an initial idea while also addressing issues or challenges. So let's talk about how to do these methods in person versus virtually. If you're working in person, you can seat brainstorming participants around a table, making it easy to pass sticky notes and sheets of paper. Also, depending on which version you are facilitating, you will need sticky notes, paper, markers, and pens. Now, if you're working virtually, we recommend using a tool like Jamboard, particularly for Rip Slap Pass. You can assign participants a number in their video chat and use the sequence to post virtual sticky notes, taking turns. For other forms of round robin, you can create multiple frames in Jamboard for each participant to begin their brainstorming. And then, when time is up, ask participants to slide to the next frame. Moving from frame to frame is the virtual version of passing each paper. To review, remember, clearly state the problem before starting any brainstorming session. Establish ground rules, including a time limit for brainstorming. Do not permit talking during the brainstorming time. This helps to avoid one person influencing someone else's thinking. And I recommend starting with Rip Slap Pass and building up to the refined round robin method. As always, if you found this video helpful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you very much.